Welcome to Taking Healthy Back with Maria, with your host, Maria Malec, experience coach, conscience educator, and destination retreat host, presents to you countless ways to overcome an overwhelmed, overprocessed, and over-medicated lifestyle. She'll be covering everything wellness, from getting more from life than you put into it, destination retreats to healthy cooking and conscious education. So please welcome the host of Taking Healthy Back with Maria.
Greetings, everybody. Welcome to Taking Healthy Back with Maria. I'm Maria Malec, your host, and today we have another wonderful guest, is Kena Siu, and today's episode is called Radical Health Imagined. I'm sitting here with Kena, the powerhouse behind the Wellbeing Project, to explore how she's revolutionizing health and community through self-love, empowerment, and holistic practices. Welcome, Kena. Thanks for being here.
No, thank you, Maria. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the invitation.
My podcasts have kind of gotten off track. And when I initially started, I had 3 questions for people. And I got away from asking them. So I want to ask you the 3 questions. And then I want to get into your well-being project and how you're impacting lives. Does that sound cool?
Yeah, that sounds perfect. Thank you.
Wonderful. So my first question is, what does healthy mean to you?
Healthy. It's really an alignment of body, mind, and soul.
I love that.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful. And what are your 3 to 5 non-negotiables for sustaining your health and wellness?
My morning routine, which is really meditation, movement. I call it movement because, during the summer I get to run, outdoors, but now I'm doing more yoga indoors. It could be sometimes just dancing and just, moving my body around different things. What else? A lot of water. I drink a lot of water during the day. What else is it? Like journaling, I don't do it every day, but when I'm really, like saturated or something like that, I really love journaling. And what else? Yeah, healthy foods. Not 100%, but at least, the meals during my day, like some of them, they had to be like very, very nurturing. Otherwise, yeah, I'm kind of craving. So
So no matter where you go, whether you're at home or you're traveling, those are things that are non-negotiable. You have to do them every day. Is that what you're saying?
yeah. Well, I'm gonna say except for the food, sometimes I struggle. And like now for the holidays, I'm at with my mom, but now I'm getting back on track on that one. I
Good.
also I allow myself also to have some, in that case, like permission myself. I say, okay, it's holidays, it's fine. Do not feel guilty, and then just retaking everything.
Yes. I really love that you say give yourself permission, because I think we like to chastise ourselves a lot, and then we don't give ourselves permission, but then we do the thing that we think is really bad. And I feel like when we do it in that order, then we're always chastising ourselves, and then feeling bad about our decisions. And I think when you give yourself permission, you're giving yourself the grace to do that. So I like
Yeah,
that you said that.
I agree. Yes.
Well, and the next question really leads into who you are and what your well-being project is, but how are you impacting the world and helping others take healthy back?
Okay. Well, it's been like a 10-year process. Actually, well, almost 11. Yeah, in 2014, like after I did yoga for 2, 3 years, when finally my body and mind connected, they will start like asking me for better food, and is when I
Mhm.
start changing my eating habits. Like I introduce like green juices, smoothies. I change my whole, type of foods that I was having in my pantry. I started eating much less meat and more plant-based foods.
Mhm.
Um, and then from there, with the person that I was following, she offered a coaching program,
Mhm.
coaching habits. So I took that program, and it was an holistic program. So it's really when the whole thing came together, then body, mind, and soul. Then I started like meditating more since then. And yeah, I mean, just the shifts that I got, even though I was not sick, I was
Right.
not healthy either. And that really was like, oh my God, that was a big, yeah, aha moment realizing that.
That
So then
happened to
from there,
me too. Same thing. I was never chronically sick, but I also know that there were lots of deficits going on, and I really didn't know what it was. And there's no one size fits all way of doing
correct.
things. And looking at your website and seeing what you're all about, I I like that you mentioned meditation. I know a lot of people are getting into meditation, and I got away from it for many, many years. And it wasn't until I started doing it again, and I've really been faithful meditating every morning. And then I started also meditating at night before I go to bed. So, how do you make meditation? And I know mindset is a big thing, a part of your
Yes.
program in the well-being project.
Yes. Um, well, meditation is one of usually is the first thing I do in the morning. Like after going to the washroom is the first thing that I do. Um, the timing varies. The thing is, this summer I did a Vipassana meditation program for the first time, so I know the technique now, and that one is like around 1 hour and 5 minutes a day. So
Oh,
I've
wow.
been implementing that more often. Yeah, like sometimes when I don't have more time or stuff, like I will do it at least like for 15 minutes or so.
Mhm.
But it has really shifted a lot of things, meditating longer. But at least I like to do that like for 15 minutes in the day, or when I can't for some reasons, I
Mhm.
really try to be even more present, because that's the thing. Meditation is really being present. So it brings
Yes.
a different kind of, I mean, we can meditate like it would be an active meditation in that case, instead of passive of being sitting, right?
Right, right. I notice for myself, I'm calmer. I am less reactive to things, and
Yes.
I don't allow things to affect me like they used to. And they really did in the past affect me. So, your mission emphasizes empowering women to live authentically. And I think we hear a lot about that today. Oh, you got to live authentically. And I just learned that authenticity is one of the highest vibrations that we can
Yes.
reflect out into the world. So, explain what your idea of living authentically means, because I think people think different things about that.
Yeah. Living authentically, the way I have experienced it is really knowing myself. That was the first thing. But knowing myself deeply and then accepting myself, my light and my shadow. So only when we get to that balance of accepting ourselves fully,
Right.
like saying, yeah, I know I have these flaws, and it's part of me. I accept them. It's okay.
Mm,
And I think until I embody that is that I was able to really start living authentically. Of course, it's a process. I'm still in the process, because we get to be more authentic sometimes, like when we are with other people. It's like different when we are with family sometimes, right?
right.
It's always a process. but
Hmm.
it is that, like, really embodying my light and my shadow, and then from there be able to express myself.
Okay, so I love that. And I also love at the beginning when you said that healthy to you is being in alignment. What are some of the common
Yeah.
challenges women face in this pursuit? And how do you help them overcome those obstacles?
Okay. The first thing that I will say is not knowing who we are.
Hmm.
Another thing would be like giving not taking responsibility for our lives, for ourselves. So we put the responsibility on others for situations that happened and whatever else. Another thing I would say, because we don't know ourselves, we tend to people please. And this is,
Oh,
I noticed
yes.
this is so huge, the people pleasing. Because if we're pleasing others, then we are, in a way, rejecting ourselves. We are rejecting our
Yeah.
truth. And if we are not accepting that, then we cannot live authentically. Then we come back to that.
So, do you think because of how we could bring the world into our homes through our phones, and the reason people don't know themselves is because they're comparing themselves to everybody else out there? And then they're, you know, I should be like this, I should be like that, I should eat this, I should do that, and not listening to their body, not listening, as I like to say, to the inner knower. Do you think that is a big factor in people just not knowing who they are?
Yeah, I think you are completely right. Because, I mean, since we are born, we have been programmed to be, like how to behave, how you have to react to things, what to do, what not to do, and more. I see it more with women. We have more, you know, kind of checklists that we have to follow, you know and then also with our age, as we evolved, also, like, you don't supposed to get older, all these different things that it really affect us, and for us to trying to follow that status quo, that it doesn't serve us a lot at all, and it's just the program outside. So that's why we are getting all the time that information from outside through the in, and we believe that's what is true. The thing is, if we come back to the meditation, when we go in, is when
Yes.
we're gonna connect back to that inner being.
So, outside meditation, what are some of the things that you teach women to get to know themselves better? And I'm thinking one of them is helping ourselves accept ourselves and give ourselves permission. So, what are some other things that you address that can get women more in touch and to stop comparing themselves to everything outside?
The first thing, it's awareness. Because if we are not aware, we cannot change, or we cannot change our habits, or either if it's action or if it's habits in thought. If we are not aware, we cannot change. So that's the first thing. And then another thing will be, I like, because we are not our mind and we are not our body. We're really a soul living a human experience. So by bringing the observer, like imagining that there's someone here really observing what I'm doing, because there's someone, like if I put attention, well, okay, I'm speaking now. This is what is coming. I'm in front.
Mhm.
It's really the observer. It's not who I am. So when we start observing then those dots and saying, oh my God, like I'm saying this to me, I'm thinking that, I'm criticizing, when we start noticing all this, is when we can really start shifting and changing.
Yes, yes. That's music to my ears because you could even ask my children, 5 who that I have. And my favorite word is awareness. And my father taught it to me a long, long time ago. And it was simply like when you're out in public, be aware, like be aware where the exit is and be aware of your situation. So when you said that, I got chills all over my body because
Mhm.
I think everything that we do begins with awareness.
Yeah.
I really believe that.
Yeah, because again, we have been programmed, so most of the stuff that we do is in autopilot. We
Yes.
don't even notice how many times we do things that we don't even notice them.
Right. Isn't it
Yeah.
like 95% of what we do coming from the automatic consciousness?
Yeah,
Like
from unconsciousness. Yeah. Yeah.
our subconsciousness, I should say.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Someone gave an example once, like you can talk to someone and look them in the eyes and tie your shoe at the same time without looking at your shoe. So if someone doesn't understand, that's what we're talking about. I love the concept of temple body movement. And on your website, you're very beautiful and you move so fluidly and gracefully and with such beauty and care. Talk to us
Thank
about
you.
temple body movement. What does that mean to you? And how do you incorporate that in your well being project?
Yeah. It's temple body movement is really the expression of ourselves because
I love that.
it's not a guided dance, it's really like by listening to the music, or sometimes we can even dance without music. It's just having that flow of the body and how it wants to move, and move from the heart. Because then if we are dancing with a song or something, then we are like, oh, I need to follow the rhythm, then the mind gets in there, right? So it's
Oh,
more
yeah.
like connected to the heart and move the body and just allow the body to move freely how it wants to express. And it's medicine, because
Mm,
the emotions that we have that are, energy in motion that are stuck in our body, by dancing for a long period of time, we can get in kind of like a trance,
mhm.
and to really heal.
So that was going to be my next question. How does the movement contribute to healing and to being healthy?
Well, again, it's moving that energy in motion that we have, moving our emotions, because sometimes it's hard to express what we have to say, to
Hmm.
speak it up, or sometimes we actually have ache in our bodies.
Hmm.
And by doing that movement and with more intention and focus,
Hmm.
that help us really move things around.
Right, right,
We
right,
Yes, so we tend many times to know, like, okay, I feel sad or I feel happy, like label the emotions, which it's okay to know.
right, right.
But sometimes it's a mix of things, and we don't really need to label them. It's just about expressing the body, so we can start like shifting and noticing, yeah, noticing things that are happening in our mind. It doesn't matter
Mhm.
what is it, because sometimes it can be like we get into a thought or something. Again, awareness come in, and then let's see how you want to flow when you are actually in the movement.
I really love that because for years and years, and my friends would tell you, I do not like labels. And I feel that when you put a label on something, then now you're in a box. And I think with Western medicine, they have to label everything so that we get a diagnosis and then, a treatment and a prescription. And I really love this because to me, it sounds like there's so much freedom in what you're saying. And movement helps unstuck emotions that are in in our body. And that's usually the first thing I tell people is that if you're in a bad mood or you're ruminating these thoughts over and over again, get up from wherever you are and even walk to the across the room or go get a drink of
Yes.
water or just go outside for 5 minutes, and just that simple movement will help in you moving through that rough emotion. Do you agree?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely.
Wonderful. So you talk a lot about self-love and body appreciation. I think you call it embodiment. And they seem to be central themes of your work. What strategies do you recommend for individuals struggling to accept and appreciate their unique self?
Hmm. I will come back to the knowing themselves.
Mm,
Know thyself is the first thing. Like the way I actually embody it and how I start loving myself fully
mhm.
and truly was by doing self-care practices. And
Okay.
again, as you said, there's no one way fits all. It's whatever you like, whatever you enjoy doing, that
Mhm.
it feels good to you.
Yes.
That's what it is. And the more I was taking care of myself, and the more I also changed, I mean, I was aware of my vocabulary. It was so mean.
Yes.
I was so mean with myself. So that was one of the first things that I started doing, changing my vocabulary and saying no. Until
Yes.
I learned to be my best friend. That's what I did. It's like, okay, how will you talk to your best friend? You will not say that. You will take care of her. You will be kind. You will be compassionate. So treating myself by my best friend and self-care practices, that was really that bring me to love myself.
Mm. What does loving yourself feel like? Because I know with especially with moms that anything they do for themselves is sometimes considered selfish. You know,
Mhm.
how do and I do the same as you, and I do have to battle the self-talk like, oh, come on, Maria, you're being selfish. Like, this is extravagant. You shouldn't be doing
Mhm.
that. And self-care should just be a part of the fabric of our everyday life. And even if that means just taking a break,
Yeah.
so how can we help women, or
Yeah.
how are you helping women just get to that spot?
Okay. The thing is, there are many things that we do during the day that they are part of our self-care and we're not aware of them,
Okay.
right? It could be as
Like what?
simple as enjoying your coffee in the morning, like as you said, taking a break, or drinking more water during the day. All those things, they are very simple and probably we say it's like, oh, it's just that. Yeah, it's just that, but it makes the difference. And if it makes you feel good, then just go for it. The thing is, we have this idea that self-love, it has to be, self-care is about, I don't know, like going for a massage, having a bath. Yes, those are part of it, but there are
Mhm.
so many other things that we can do for ourselves, as simple as you say, like playing a song and dancing on your own, taking a break, going
Mm,
for around a walk, for taking a walk outside just to break from, I don't know, let's say the noise from your office or your house. All those little things for you to bring you back to a better state. That's what it is. And the guilt that we feel as women
I know.
of considering selfish, again, it's a program. And it's the way, I mean, it's this been for millions, for thousands, millions of years, because the woman is the one who has to step out, has to provide, has to serve all the time. And so since we are born, we literally are very subtly like taught that you have to be the last on the list, because you need
Mhm.
to, everyone has to be first.
Right.
But the truth is that then we give from a place of lack and resentment.
Yes.
So when we take care of ourselves and we fill up our cup, when we
Yes.
give from that overflow and abundance, then we can give from a place of love.
Yes. Yes. I love it. I love it. I keep getting chills as you're talking because and that's just confirmation what you're saying is truth and it's very beautiful. Right now we have a commercial break, but when we come back we'll continue the conversation and see how people can meet you, work with you and you can share your gifts with them. We'll
Okay.
be right back. I think we'll be right back.
I think sometimes we do the things that we didn't have. So I didn't have that when I was setting my business. And I didn't have people telling me, hey, oh, this is a hole that you have and here's some people that can help fill that hole. You don't have to do everything yourself. You don't have to you
Right,
can,
right.
but we're not meant to
I
do it ourselves as business people either.
Okay, and that's a question that I have also. And I was raised to be a housewife, and I wasn't raised to have a career. And I don't know how many other women my age or, various ages were groomed in that way. And at this point in my life, I don't really want to start a career. Are there women in the group who are not business entrepreneur oriented that are a part of the group just to help them, I don't want to say find themselves, but really be okay with where they are and not pursuing these big dreams, because there's a big push out there for women to be these hardcore powerful women, empowered, which I want women to be empowered, but I don't believe everyone is meant to be an entrepreneur. Are there women in the group who just want to be women or moms or just be okay with where they are and give themselves permission? Does that all make sense?
It makes perfect sense. And I'm going to say this and just expand it a little because I feel like all of us need to be okay with where we are. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we have some people that are in a different season, right? And so we have some people call it empty nesters or whatever, little titles that we have to it, right? And that's a very special season that needs to be nurtured and understood. But what I say to people that tell me, well, and I had a couple of women, it was really beautiful conversation we had on our last retreat, as a matter of fact. And someone said, I'm in this stage, I've already had a business, I've done a business, I've sold my business, or I left the business, or I retired.
Welcome back to Taking Healthy Back. We're with Kena Siu with the Wellbeing Project. Kena, you talked about, where is it? The importance of overcoming people pleasing tendencies. What steps can someone take to start honoring their own needs without guilt? And we talked about self care, but I'm sure there's another aspect to what you teach people how to get out of that loop of doing, self pleasing all the time.
But one of the first things is really noticing with whom you are pleasing, like your behaviors, very safe, the
Okay.
behaviors that we have. Because we're not pleasing with everyone, right? If we
Right.
behave with each person, with each relationship, we behave differently.
Mm-hmm.
So by acknowledging like why is the reason, because the thing is usually is really coming to the roots, because when we please, it's based in our wounds, usually in our core wounds, that it could be rejection, uh, fear of abandonment,
Mm-hmm.
uh, fear of not being loved or
Mm-hmm.
accepted. Those are kind of like the main ones. So because of that, we tend to please people because we want to be there or we want to belong,
Right.
right? So it's really going back there and say, okay, what's the root? Like, if you are like, one of my main wounds is rejection. So I needed to go back and to see, when did that started? What was the situation that happened that I perceive it of myself as a rejection? So I
Mm.
can start healing from there. I had a client that, what happened with her, her people pleasing is a super high level. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the thing, it has to be with some of the things that her father used to tell her. So which are the stories that we believe from there, that she's not able, like she was not able, like it's difficult for her to take decisions on things like that, because her words didn't matter, she was shushed. So it's really important to go back to what are the core reasons why we are pleasing others. And then one of the practices that I love doing is like, okay, so if you usually do behave with these people, like you are, let's say, with someone, you cannot say no, you always say yes with that person in
Mm-hmm.
certain things, like, okay, mom, I'm also going, yes, I can help you, mom, but then you have your kids, or something like that. You could say to your mom no, but you're afraid of it, right? Because what about if she doesn't love you anymore, because you don't want to say no? So what I like doing is like, start practicing, right? And at least to start thinking and practice it in the mind, like saying, okay, next
Mm.
time that happened, I want to do this. I want to act like this. So at least you have it already prepared, and you have an idea
Right.
of what you want to do. You might be able to do it the first time, or maybe not, and it's okay. It's just
Right.
about having that intention, and probably the first time you were not able to do it, but probably the second time, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that kind of like rehearsal of how, because when we people please, is usually the same behaviors from the other people, towards
Mm-hmm.
us, because they know how we're going to act, right? So
Right.
that's why. But then when we start putting boundaries little by little, like start saying
Mm-hmm.
and no, different things, this is one of the things that happen. A lot of people are gonna not like your change because it's not convenient for them,
Right. Right. Right.
right? So just
Mm-hmm.
let it be. It can be hurtful, because then some people might walk away from your life, from that side. But it's like, why then they were really with you? It was not from a
Oh.
relationship of love. It was really something beneficial for them.
Mm-hmm.
And since it's not beneficial for them anymore, they're just gonna
Right.
leave you and then look for someone else that they can manipulate, literally.
Mhm. That was going to be my next question. Can you keep relationships intact if you change your people pleasing behavior? And it's probably okay sometimes if those people do leave, actually, don't you think?
Yeah. Yeah, I think I had a relationship with a guy, a friend guy, for a couple of years,
Mm-hmm.
and I put so much energy in that relationship, like trying to, do this and that. And when we finally came to something that we didn't agree, each of us, we finally broke up that relationship, and I
Mm-hmm.
didn't realize how much energy I was putting in there.
Mm-hmm.
It was so liberating to actually let him go and said, yeah, this is not serving me. Like, it was myself putting in that relationship, and I was not getting much back from him. And any relationship, it doesn't matter what type is it needs to be a balance in there,
Right.
right? So if we come back to the self-love, when we realize, no, I'm putting you a boundary because this is what I want, this is what I deserve. So if you don't like it, you can walk away. I love myself so much that I can let you go, and I love you so much that I can also let you go.
Mm. I love that. A lot of that's been happening in my life too, and it wasn't so much as a people pleasing issue, but like you said, putting so much energy into a friendship or relationship that has very little reciprocity. And I believe you have to have both, and you can't force people into the same mind space. And I think it's, when we're growing and developing, and not all relationships are for every season. That's what I like to say.
No,
And
yeah,
it's,
that's true.
it's okay, and
Yeah.
then you might get the gaslighters and the people who make you feel bad for making those choices, but that too is another form of self-care and self-love.
Yes. For me, actually, what was it, like 5 years ago? Yeah. I mean, it was it was a lot of things happening at the same time, a lot of grieving because my father transitioned. Then, because of that, I started questioning my life, and then I left my marriage of 10 years, and then my best friend broke up with me like a year after that, and
Wow.
it was really triggering for her the change that I was doing.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it was very so. I was freaking heartbreaking at the time. It was very hard, but then I understand it, and that's the other thing. We gotta focus in ourselves again. Yeah, other people might be in another journey, and one of the things that happen is when we start doing those changes and feeling better, we want to spread it around,
Right.
and we want everyone to change and do it and stuff. But the truth is, a lot of people is not ready. A lot of people are not ready, so we really need to come back to ourselves, to focus on us, and then because just by us taking action and changing and shifting, we create a ripple effect with the people around
Yes.
us. And
Yes.
whoever wants to stay there for us, they're going to stay there.
Right. I love that. It really is a confirmation about a lot going on in my life right now. So I really appreciate this conversation. It's kind of like a backhanded therapy session, confirming that I'm on the right track. Because I think women, especially, we second guess ourselves so much. And we have to learn. And I think the meditation helps you tune into listening to the right voice.
Yeah. And recognizing that voice, because we have
Yes,
few voices in our heads, and that's
sure.
what awareness also help us, because when we bring awareness, we can start saying, oh, this is the ego voice. Oh, this is my intuition, that's my inner being. So start, and the more we start listening to that intuition, their inner voice, the soul, the louder it's going to start coming, and then the ego voice is going to start like coming down and down and down.
Right. And we're not responsible for how someone else feels about us.
No,
And
not at all.
that's on them. If they're feeling
Correct.
rejection, or, whatever it is that they might be feeling. So, can you share a success story from your coaching practice that highlights the transformative power of self-love and empowerment?
Yes. Um, I had a client a couple of years ago, and so we did a 3-month program,
Mm-hmm.
and she was very fearful, and also very, um, as you said, like not believing on herself, because her grandmother had a lot of influence on her.
Mm-hmm.
So we really work a lot,
Mm.
and for her, or seeing, yeah, but that's that perception of your grandmother, right? Like, say, like she
Right.
used to say, I'm really slow, I'm really slow. I said, why do you think you are slow? And then she was like, well, when I was a kid, once my grandma asked me to do something, and then she said, no, you're really slow, look, you can do it faster. I said, okay. That was her perception, because for how many years she was doing that action, and you
Right.
were just learning to do it. So
Right.
when we see things from a different perspective, and that's one of the things that I really teach my clients. It's seeing things from a different perspective.
Yes.
Because I'm seeing you from here is different than if you watch something from this side and then from the other side. So when we get to shift our perceptions is when we can really heal and say, yeah, no, yeah, it was the perception of that person that make me believe this, and then I am other person, so I get to choose what I want to be. And so that was one of the main things for her, start recognizing a lot of things that were not hers, like all the programming that she was having. So then she was able to heal some of her wounds and start coming out and out. And then she was able to set better boundaries with her mom and also with her partner. Then we did the coaching probably like 2 years after she actually divorced, because she noticed also like her relationship was not good.
Right.
So it was really for her, like the way she said is like it was like a compass, like what I gave her, like for her to be able to sink in with her more and be able then to follow her truth, that it was coming from the heart, and then she was able to move forward in her life.
Wonderful. It's such a liberation. And I've had a bunch of moments like that. And living on this side of that, like you said, you just want to share it with everyone. And not everybody's ready, but it's good to see that you have been able to see someone on both sides of the fence and their liberation. Kenna, you do retreats? Do you do
uh,
retreats or just personal coaching?
No, well, not yet. The thing is, I didn't have enough quorum last year for the retreat that I wanted to offer. It's
Hmm.
called Remember Your Essence. So I guess until I get more quorum and see more people interested, I will do it. I want to put it into action, the same structure and everything, because I created a beautiful program together with another sister coach of myself. So yeah, let's see how this year unfolds, and if some things come at the end of the year or probably next year.
I love it. Same with me. So who knows? Maybe there's a collaboration in our future together.
Yeah, we
Um,
never know.
we met through Phoebe and her beautiful retreats that she offers. And I love that we had this conversation today. If someone would love to work with you based on what they've heard today, what's your website and where can they contact you?
Okay, so my website is wellbeingproject.ca, and
Okay.
then my handle in Instagram is Kena Siu. So it's KENASIU.
Okay.
And so I have one-on-one coaching at this moment, and then I also have a couple of online programs that they are low-cost programs that they are short. One of them is actually Become Your Best Friend.
I love that.
Yeah, I started with that one, and then also this week on Wednesday I launched my podcast. New podcast is called Midlife Butterfly. So yeah, I'm super excited about that. Yeah, just coming out. I have 2 episodes so far. You're not explaining more about my story, but I already did a few interviews with wonderful women, and yeah, I'm so excited because again, it's about what I talk about is about empowerment, spirituality, pleasures in life, self care,
Mhm.
self love, and life transitions, because we are constantly shifting and and
Yes,
transforming. So
yes,
yeah,
yes, yes.
that's why it's called butterfly.
Wonderful. Well, if you need a guest, I'm available because
Oh
that
yeah.
that's the stage of life I'm in. I'm an empty nest, and I will say the first year that I became the empty nest, there was a lot of grieving. Like, where do I go? Where do I belong? Who do I take care of now? And it doesn't have to be that way, especially when we have women like you and me helping women with the next phase of their life and doing it with grace and ease. I am so excited about seeing the future of all these wonderful things that we're working on. And it was such a pleasure to have you on today, Kena. And I'll make sure that I put your information in the description and send out this podcast so other people can see the beauty that you offer to the world. Thank you so much. Appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Maria. It has been a pleasure being here. And yeah, I look forward to collaborate and listen, to, get in contact with you again.
Wonderful. And I'll see you all next time on Taking Healthy Back with Maria. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
This has been Taking Healthy Back with your host, Maria. Tune in each week as Maria will empower you to put your wellness in your control. Right here, Fridays, noon Eastern, on the Bold Brave TV network.